Hello and welcome back to the Daily Poem here on the Close Reads Podcast Network. I'm David Kern. Today is April 10th, 2020. I'm standing outside on my porch late at night. It's after midnight on the morning of Good Friday. It has been a month or so since last I recorded a podcast for you. I wanted to apologize for that, as with many of you, things have been turned a little upside down by COVID-19. I've not been at our office and thus have not had access to our regular studio. And a lot of our podcast work that we've been doing has been inside cars, in our bedrooms and our home offices, trying to avoid the noise of children and so forth, just to make sure that the audio quality is good. And I've been trying to figure out the right system for doing this. I don't know that I have entirely figured that out yet. Right now, I'm actually recording to my phone. You can probably tell that the audio quality is not as good, but I'm recording to my iPhone, standing outside on my porch, because I wanted to get you a poem. I wanted to bring back the podcast now for this Good Friday. I want to read a poem to you called Dyeing the Easter Eggs. It's by A.E. Stallings. It's from her collection Like, which came out in the last couple of years. A.E. Stallings is one of my favorite contemporary poets. And I like to read one of her poems every chance I get. You may be hearing the wind through the trees and in the woods in the forest area, a small little forest area next to our house. So I apologize if that's distracting. I'll try to make sure that the audio quality continues to improve here over the next few weeks or month or so until perhaps we are able to get back into the studio again. But this is A.E. Stallings' Dyeing the Easter Eggs for your Easter weekend. Dyeing the Easter eggs, the children talk of dying. Resurrections in the air like the whiff of vinegar. These eggs won't hatch, my daughter says, since they are cooked and dead, a hard-boiled batch. I am the children's blonde American mother who thinks that Easter eggs should be pastel. But they have icon eyes, and they are Greek. And eggs should be, they've learned at school this week, blood red. We compromise, and some are yellow or blue or red and blue, assorted purples, mauves, but most are crimson, a hematic hue, rubbed to a sheen with chrism of olive oil. They will not spoil, as Christian death is a preservative, as Jesus trampled death and harrowed hell. The kids' palms are incarnadine and violet, a mess. Go wash your hands. They wash their hands, punctilious as Pontius Pilate. A.E. Stallings lives in Athens, I believe. At least she lives in Greece. And I believe her husband is Greek. And so there's a lot of things in here that reference Greek culture or the Greek Orthodox Church. There is, for example, the reference to the chrism of oil. When someone enters the Greek church, when they enter the Orthodox Church, that is part of a ceremony called chrismation. And they are chrismed, and there is involved a chrism of oil there. But there are many more images. Another image related to the Orthodox Church and to the Greek culture is the red eggs. It's a tradition at the end of the what's called Paschal service, leading into the midnight service of Easter Sunday. It's the Saturday night before Easter. There's a midnight service, and at the end of it, there's a big feast. It's called the agape meal, and everyone is given a red egg, a hard-boiled egg that's been dyed red, and you crack them up against each other as a sort of celebratory toast almost, and you see whose egg survives and whose egg cracks, and if your egg survives, you win, so to speak. It's a little game. Kids particularly love it. But of course, there are many other symbols in this poem that are applicable or relatable to Christians of any tradition. There is the whiff of vinegar, the vinegar that was offered to Christ on the cross. There's the idea of the egg in the tomb. The crimson of blood. Jesus trampling down death and harrowing hell. And even the image of violet, the purple robes, and the symbol of kingship, of royalty. To me, that final image, that image of violet at the end, maybe a little bit subtle, speaks to the concept of victory, of the ultimate victory that Easter represents, and the idea that Christ himself is on the throne. And then at the end, of course, the idea that in some ways all of us are like Pontius Pilate rings so true, I think, so universally true for anybody who contemplates the sort of essential meaning of the Easter holiday, of the Easter holy day, and of what it means for each of us. So that's enough comments from me. I'll let the poem speak for itself for the next few minutes of the podcast. It's good to be back with you. And once more, here is A.E. Stallings, Dyeing the Easter Eggs. Dyeing the Easter eggs, the children talk of dying. Resurrections in the air like the whiff of vinegar. These eggs won't hatch, my daughter says, since they are cooked and dead, a hard-boiled batch. I am the children's blonde American mother who thinks that Easter eggs should be pastel. But they have icon eyes and they're Greek. And eggs should be, they've learned at school this week, blood red. We compromise, and some are yellow or blue or red and blue, assorted purples, mauves, but most are crimson, a hematic hue, rubbed to a sheen with chrism of olive oil. They will not spoil, as Christian death is a preservative, as Jesus trampled death and harrowed hell. The kids' palms are incarnadine and violet, a mess. Go, wash your hands. They wash their hands, punctilious as Pontius Pilate. This has been the Daily Poem. Thanks so much for listening, and I will be back on Monday with another poem for you.